Hello. I'm gonna do just a brief energy update from the ravine with my mutt. There's a kickball tournament happening over the way, so there's gonna be a lot of ambient noise in addition to the water flowing and stuff, but it's the 6th of July. We had the new moon in Cancer yesterday, and Cancer is the only sign that's actually ruled by the moon, and it's a new moon, so it's especially potent for connecting with the intuition over any other framework, including false beliefs that have been implanted, either inherited or constructed over time in your psyche and in your functioning. It's time to override those. And the Syrian, our spiritual sun, Sirius, it's sort of always open, but right now it's particularly potent. So there's a lot of inspiration and information coming from outside of what we can typically access, or most people typically access, in to be acknowledged. And so it could be presenting in really bizarre, vivid dreams that might kind of actually feel like they contain some information or advice. Or it could be a lot of what I got as a vision the other day was like a scooter or a moped, and instead of just having two mirrors, I don't know why my phone isn't focusing. My phone is continuing to, there we go. Instead of just having one mirror on either side, there's tons of mirrors, so that the way that we see, the way that we can access how the past looks, everything behind you, there's a lot more visibility there. And there's a lot more open for us to see and reflect with, to inform how we go forward. Last week, I had a dream about being in a world with a bunch of people and feeling like I had to find a way out, and exiting through a portal in the sky and looking back into that world and realizing that they were all two-dimensional. And when I was around them, I couldn't realize that, because I too was two-dimensional to be able to exist in that space with them. But once I exited, only then could I see how flattened everything that I was perceiving from a higher vantage point now looked and really was. And it's only when we move out of where we've been that we can see it for what it really was. And that's, of design, that's not a flaw. That's how it's supposed to be. And part of my personal integrations for the past few weeks, it's been about realizing that absolutely everybody, even your adversaries, even your adversaries, are perfectly designed for whatever it is that they're doing in the kaleidoscopic quilt of life and meaning. It's like, just because we don't agree with something or someone does not mean that it's not functioning for the whole in some critical and crucial way. There's a strong bowing of the physical mind to open the spiritual heart and head, and the connection. It's not like oh no, we just exist with these things even though we don't agree with them. It's a truly seeing that it's part of it, whatever's happening in your personal situations, or a little bit more of the global unrest and what's going to be picking up more, things that are hard to witness, hard to watch, hard to endure, or things that hit really close to home or affect us personally, playing out. And it's like, there is still some cosmic dance here, and it's not that you're a victim to how that moves, right? We're always bringing through a current. There are two wolves inside us all, and you can feed either one. And there's something about being really mindful of what current, almost like two different, I see something like the colorful cables in the circuitry of cars when you're going to jump start it. They're always flowing through you, but it's which one is active, right? By design, the fear that we feel it could be just the slightest shade of fear, but there's always things that will crop up and disrupt the uninterrupted flow. But it's the returning to the flow and the reminding that the way that you physically feel, it's not just I pick love, right? It's the way that you physically feel when you remember that all the energy in existence is flowing through you to give you life. All the energy, all of creation has chosen to express itself, to understand itself, to know itself, which is why we live and let live. And by the conscious will within you, to make that something that is positive, we learn. And there's always been iterations of your soul, or there will be, right? Or there has been. Or there are in simultaneous selves other versions not choosing well. But where are you now? You know, what does your consciousness allow you to believe and choose? Because there's a big breaking point with the collective consciousness right now where a lot of people do know better. But because of these long-standing fixtures in their lives, it's like they can't enact it yet. And a lot of that is starting to give way and will for the rest of the year, as far as, I heard the word exodus, but changing more long-standing patterns that have felt super immovable as all of this deep, and now I'm seeing the id, superego, ego, like the iceberg thing, the iceberg diagram. So much under the surface has been pulled up in these just dense, big sheets of purging energy, right? That has made it harder for us to welcome in what is displacing that in these higher frequencies. And I was awoken last night by, it's so funny how the tables have turned. I just turned 30 and there was a group of 20-year-olds partying at 1 a.m. and I was like, I need to sleep, kiddos. And I was listening to them though as I was trying to sleep through it, and I could see, very interesting, because they were all partying, right? And you do open your vibration up and your aura up to different frequencies when you're partying and using mind-altering substances. You can change your energy through that. And I could hear their voices in my dream state, and I was in the 4D, so my astral eyes were open, and I could see entities attached to these kids. Dark energies, and it's not like, oh no, they're bad people. There's entities everywhere, right? And it's all about what is it that you're allowing and choosing. Like attracts like. If you have a dense dark vibe, then dense dark energies will like that. But similarly, if you have a bright open channel and a bright light, you will attract a lot of energy as well. So there's something, I guess, that I'm reflecting on about zippering up and keeping very safe and secured in your personal energies. It's not the loveliest visual, but I often see it as I do this in the shower in the morning because I'm a water sign, but elementally other people might prefer different practices. It's like a body bag in the shower. I completely cleanse my body, my energy, use Epsom salts, scrub a little bit, and zip it up like a body bag. There's positivity in not knowing what comes next right now. I think a lot of people might feel uncomfortable with hanging in a certain balance that feels like it's I have to wait for something external, for life to keep turning in order to see what's happening in my life right now. And that's foreign to a lot of people, or it's destabilizing, or it opens the door for pause. But really in that pause, because we're not used to filling it with optimism and hope, or we are, right? But it's a practice. During that pause, what more naturally comes in is fear or anxious anticipation. If there was something in front of you that you could see and anticipate, I believe it would mean that you haven't allowed for enough to be purged out of your life thus far this summer, the way that the energies are going. So I'm in that camp and I like it. It feels very liberating. It's nerve-wracking, but all you have to do is flip on the switch and be like, I have chosen, as this part of the cosmic quilt, to experience this life, to become more conscious during this life, to awaken and allow more love in this part of the quilt of energy that I inhabit, to vibrate a little higher, because it's sort of this idea of we are not free if there are those among us who are prisoners. And it's also the same cutting off the nose to spite the face thing. But I hope everybody's well, and that's my energy update.